garden, I talk to myself, so I get both. So yeah, I hear myself all the time. So know our plants and their needs. Which are hardy, which are tender. Okay, which ones can we put out now in the garden and forget about it? As long as there's not a hard frost, we're not worried if it goes down to 4 degrees overnight. Which ones do we plant and we're like, ooh, that's getting a little chilly and I'm very worried about them? Which ones are direct sow seeds and which ones should we have started indoors or do we have to come and buy starter plants? Well, everybody is here. For anybody joining late?
Not late.
Not late?
They were on time. It was my fault.
Yeah, no. But they're joining late. I didn't blame them. I didn't blame you. There's no blame on the long weekend. It was Brandy. We talked about amending our soil. We talked about prepping the soil and what the different amendments do. All of those slides are there. We can look at them, but we've already covered all of that in previous webinars. I promise you haven't missed anything. You might have missed my dance, so there it is. And we also talked about being excited because it's the May long weekend.
Yeah.
Which plants might need additional protection and how can we do that? And the good old super easy to cover subject, fertilizer. We can always cover fertilizer in 32 seconds. That takes no time. So I have a slide here and Brandy will share it and she has access to it. And now this is no way comprehensive, but it gives you a good idea and I picked some of the most common ones. So when we're talking about hardy plants, we're talking about plants that are cold hardy. They can take little more of the extreme temperatures. If it starts getting cold or there's a cold rain or even some wet snow, they're going to be all right. And those we have are broccoli, spinach, pansies. There's even pansies called frost pansies, dianthus, kale, carrots, radish, some lettuces, cauliflower. They are cold hardy plants. They don't mind it. Some of them don't actually like growing in the summer. They can bolt. They're like, it's too hot. I don't like this. I prefer it being a little cooler. Then we have our tender plants. We have our impatiens, cucumbers, tomato. Anybody who's ever grown it, basil. Okay, I mean, basil doesn't like anything. Let's be honest. It's a good job basil tastes as good as it does because it is really, really bringing a lot of drama to the garden table. But then it brings a lot of flavor to the kitchen table. So we're going to let it slide. Lavender, peppers are notorious for not liking the cold. So keep an eye on what you're planting and the temperatures. Okay, again, I think we're going to be fine. We're going to talk about protection in a little bit. So maybe you haven't started from seed yet and the long weekend is here. Okay, well, there are seeds that you can direct sow that you put straight in the ground right now and they're good. Set it and forget it. If you haven't grown from seed, you want to grow from seed, great activity with kids. Fantastic activity. I actually find for me personally, when I was doing it with Harry, when he was just a little whippersnapper, he had those long, thin, agile fingers, and he was so much better at picking out one seed. I got big clunkers, and I pick up 2 seeds at a time, or I'm spilling them. So great activity, a lot of fun that you can have with kids. Direct sow, and again, this list is by no means comprehensive, okay, but these are some of the, again, the big hitters, ones that people love. Lettuce and spinach, we've got that. Parsnips, I love parsnips. Do you like parsnips? Mm-hmm. Parsnips are so, I do parsnips, I actually put parsnips in pasta sauce.
I do maple syrup.
Yeah, oh, that's so good. Mm-hmm. That's so good. Roasted parsnips and potato, forget about it. Cosmos, you know, they get nice and tall and willowy, but they grow fast. Sweet pea, they are really popular for their fragrance, their colors. Beans, radishes, carrots, any of your herbs, if you're growing herb from seed, there's still enough time to get them in. So you can do all of that. Other ones where you're not going to have time if you're sticking it in the garden. Squash, cucumber. I put zinnia on here, and I'm going to tell you guys why I put zinnia. So I absolutely have started zinnia from seed. You absolutely will get a flower but you're going to be waiting a long time for that flower. A lot of times when we're looking for our color at this time of year, we want the instant hit. Okay, so if you haven't grown anything from seed, you haven't started any of your summer bulbs or flowering seeds, you might want to come in and just pick out some annuals. That being said, you can get there with zinnia. Squash, cucumber, you might not get there. Normally when I put mine in, I've already had them germinating in great conditions for close to 2 months. And I'm harvesting in July, so July, August, September, you might get them, but you're pushing that envelope. All it takes is a hard frost, and they're gone. Pumpkins, not enough time. Tomatoes, again, I have done it, and I have had success, but I got very, very few tomatoes at the end of the year. But I try things, and I know you can do tomatoes from direct seed in England and also Vancouver, and we're just going to say nice things about those people today. Good on you. We're very glad that you guys can do that. We're super happy. Lavender, again, you can get there. Lavender will eventually get there, but the amount of time you're waiting to get there, it's not always worth it. Same with your peppers. They should have been started a while ago. Added protection. So this is essential at this time of year to have things on hand. It's not a bad idea to have some things on hand, especially in Calgary throughout the year because of the insanely violent is the correct word. I was trying to dial it back, but I'm like, no, the violent hailstorms we can get.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah, like they are aggressive. Like they can come in and they might only be hitting for 20 minutes, but it is 20 minutes of like gunshot, just blasting apart your plants. So having things like frost blankets can help throughout the season. Other ones the plants are going to outgrow. But right now we're talking May long weekend. We're talking about what we can do. So frost blanket, of course. Dome covers. Those are the covers that normally fit on your trays. When you're starting seedlings, some of them are about that tall. So you can put them straight on the ground. Just put a couple of light pebbles on them so they don't blow away. A mini greenhouse. We sell them at the Acre. They come in so good. A cold frame, a mini greenhouse. They come in great. The only problem with that, it's not going to do much for the flowers that you're putting in your beds. They're great if you've got pots, keep them in there overnight. Some people I know, they actually use their greenhouse, they put it straight on the ground and they plant in the ground beneath it. That will also work. Drinking cups, solo cups, those wax paper cups. I mean, you could use a mug, not this one because I'm drinking coffee out of it, but if you have another mug, something just to put over it, just to insulate it and keep it down. And they're great for like your tiny seedlings. An upside down pot. Okay, just flip a pot over and put it on them. Pop bottles. Literally just cut the bottom off. So where it comes down and then you got the little bumpy bits. Why do they put bumpy bits on the bottom of a pop bottle? I don't know.
I don't know.
That's the question. That's the question for the ages. Mankind has been asking that question since the beginning. Philosophical, I guess. Cut that part off. Now you got like a mini cover, a greenhouse. That's also good. You know, a 2-liter pop bottle would probably still be able to cover my sunflower. Yeah, I'm going to bunch it up. It's not going to be pretty, but I don't care about it being pretty. I care about it being protected. Okay, next day, frost is cleared off. The weather is getting warmer. Pop it off. This is going to do just fine. Pop back out, and it'll react accordingly. Bring them inside if that's an option. If you've got pots, move them back indoors. Ask for help. I don't want anybody throwing out their back or dropping their pot and ruining their plants. That we're trying to protect them. There's no need to hurt yourself and there's no need to hurt your plants. So if they're heavy, you just planted, you just watered, oh no, the weather is turning inclement, 2 people on a pot. It's the start of the season. We don't need anybody throwing out their back. Or you can build your own contraptions. I have seen people do that to great success using rolls of builders, poly, the stuff they put up for painting, bed sheets, bamboo canes. I've seen it all and it's all fantastic. Okay, whatever is going to work, works well. Okay, fertilizer. I love this topic. So we're going to go over it. We're going to make it real easy. I highly recommend fertilizer. I always amend my soil. That to me is the most important, a healthy soil for a number of reasons. Better for the environment, better water retention, gives the plants a solid base to grow into. It. Yes, yes, yes. But I have never, ever, ever not used fertilizer too. Fertilizer is key to really pushing your plants to the next level. Amended, if you have to pick a budget or just curiosity or whatever, and all you can have is amended soil or fertilizer, amended soil is what you want. Okay? But if you don't have to pick, you want both. Putting fertilizer, so what I always say is the amended soil is your 3 meals a day. It is your staple. It is what you need to live. The fertilizer are the supplements, okay? And good and bad, right? I don't want to just live. I don't want to eat 3 meals a day of steamed vegetables because it's healthy for me. I also want to eat Oreos. I just want to show that I'm not lying. I want to eat Oreos. These are the new peanut butter chocolate pie Oreos. If anybody hasn't had one, if Oreo is listening, I would like some, yes.
They're so good.
They're dangerously good. But it's also, we're busy, right? And we're not taking care of ourselves. So maybe we need to take a calcium supplement or vitamin C or zinc or omegas, whatever it might be. And that's what fertilizer is. Fertilizer gives your plants that lift. It makes sure they've got everything they need. It helps with the NPK, etc., etc. So speaking of NPK, isn't anything going to fall? God only knows. Those 3 numbers on the front, okay? What does it stand for, Brandy?
No problem, Ken.
No problem, Ken. NPK, okay? Otherwise known as nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. Don't get hung up on that. Really, do not get hung up on it. Pictures are our friends, okay? If you are growing a vast amount of veggies and a couple of flowers, look for one that has veggies on the front. You can use that on your flowers, I promise, okay? If you're growing a ton of flowers and 2 tomatoes, look for the one that has the flower on the front and use that on your tomatoes, okay? If organic is important for you, look for the organic one. Look at the pictures and look what's important. Trust me, these companies have done a bunch of research into these numbers. They have done all of that. This one is all purpose. So we've got trees on here. We've got annuals. We've got perennials. We've got shrubs. And we've got veggies and herbs. Okay? All purpose. Covers everything. The only thing they're missing on there that you can use this on is lawn. Okay, they should put like a little lawn down there because you can use it on your lawn as well. It truly is an all-purpose. So if you've got some perennials, a couple of shrubs, some annuals, some veggies, etc., this is your go-to. Okay, I use the right fertilizer for the right plant, but I have the luxury of having access to any fertilizer I need anytime I need it. Okay, I don't have to go home and think and be like, oh, should I have done this? And I got to go back to the store and everything else. I come in here at 6 o'clock in the morning and I'm like, oh, right, I need to get tomato fertilizer. I go down, put it on my account, come back up to my office and I'm done. That's it. So it's a lot easier for me. That being said, it is better. That's why I do it. Okay, so if you've got an even number, you've got 20 tomatoes and peppers and whatnot, and you've got 20 flower pots, maybe buy a tomato and a flowering one. It absolutely makes a difference. If you've got a scattergun approach, go with all purpose. Now, the only thing I'm going to say to that is tomatoes and peppers need a little bit of extra help. They are naturally deficient in calcium and magnesium, tomatoes. I don't believe peppers are deficient in magnesium, but don't hold me to that. I genuinely cannot remember. I read so much about so many plants, not all of it sticks, so my apologies. But they both are deficient in calcium. We sell calcium fertilizers. So we've got Magnifical, which is magnesium, calcium, and nitrogen. That's from Ramo products. And we have Calcium Essentials. It's organic, and that's from a company called Dirt and Grow. They're from Manitoba. Ramo is from Vancouver, Canadian. Gotta love it. Fantastic. I love them both. Ramo is my favorite, but I also know Ramo personally. I also know Sheldon personally. I use the Ramo one. Very small. You add it. Plays good with any other fertilizer. And blossom end rot is where your tomato starts forming. You've got your little fruit, and you get a black dot on it. Small black dot. You don't think anything of it. As the fruit grows and ripens, the black dot gets bigger and bigger, like a horrendous void.
That's how it makes us feel.
It does. It's so depressing. You can't fix it once it's there. You cannot. If you see that tiny black dot right away and feed with calcium, you might be able to mitigate it. But people think it's bugs boring into their tomatoes, or animals, or structural damage, or some kind of disease. It is a nutrient deficiency. So get the calcium to it. And please, please, please follow manufacturer's guidelines. Whatever, every fertilizer on the back will have, I'll come around to the cameras. Brandy will guide me here because I'm not very good. Hold on, where is it? There we go.
Okay.
How to use. Okay, and it will tell you for outdoor plants 1 tablespoon per gallon of water. This stuff goes a long way. All right, don't make that double strength. 1 tablespoon per gallon. For best results, apply every 7 to 14 days. Okay, water as you're doing it. Fantastic. Everyone is going to be different. So if you buy this one for your all-purpose, and then you're like, but I do have a lot of veggies, so I'm going to use this on just my flowers, perennials, trees, my grass. But I'm going to buy a veggie one, and it's Jack's. Even if it's Jack's, even if it's a different brand, it is a different fertilizer. Read the how to use. Don't believe that that's true on all of them because it is not. Okay, fertilizer covered, I hope. Stick to your plan or make a plan. Every year I tell this story because Brandy was the one who told me a number of years ago. So Brandy, I started working in Tree Lot. Brandy started as a cashier, and look at us now. They let us talk to people. A decision they'll rue that decision. But Brandy remembers one time a guy came in 4 or 5 times in one day. Mm-hmm. First time he came in, super happy. Okay, he's got everything. He's like, oh yeah, look at me. The last time he came in, he was not very happy. And I don't blame him, right? We want to get gardening. We want to do it. And then he realized, oh no, I forgot this, or I forgot this, or at the end he goes to water and he hooks up his hose and it explodes in this water because he left his hose gun out in the winter. Whatever the case might be. I have literally done that. So then he had to come back and buy a hose nozzle. All of that is really frustrating. And it can really tarnish, like it's meant to be a fun weekend. It's meant to be awesome. We're meant to plant. Then we're meant to sit back and we're meant to drink cocktails and look at our planting and pat ourselves on the back and take pictures and post them on the gram and tag all of our friends and be like, are you jealous, bitch?
You're right, though. It's going to be fun.
Exactly. And it should be some hard work. We should have to get out there and be like, whew, that was a day. And you've got soil in your fingernails, and you got that nice glow from being in the sun, and you're sweaty and you're tired and you're aching, but damn, does it feel good. Know your exposure, so know this is my shade area, this is my sun area, this is for my begonias, this is for my sunflowers, okay? Know your plant spacing. There's no point jamming all of your plants like this and then going, oh, I don't know why they didn't grow very well. Because they didn't have enough room. You've trapped in perfect areas for any kind of pathogen, bugs, disease, anything. You want air circulation, so know your spacing. Consider the heights of plants. And that can be anything from a plant that's growing now and suddenly you go, oh no, that is too big for my front stoop, it's not working. Or a tree that you don't realize until 10 years down the road and you go, oh my God, that's going to hit my wires. You're not transplanting that. Keep an eye out for all of that. Consider all environmental concerns. Are you putting something? I see people do 2 identical pots. I've done it. I love it. But they're in different places in the garden. And they water them accordingly. But this one over here is drying out a lot more because it gets more wind. This one is more sheltered. But they're watering them at the same time. And they wonder why they're not performing equally. Because one of them is either overwatered or underwatered. Okay, so make sure you consider everything like that when you're looking. Consider all spaces. Utilize your fences. Put a bracket in your fence and hang something off of it. Put a trellis against your fence and grow something up it. Grow something over the arbor on your gate. Hang a hanging basket up. Don't think 2D, okay? Look at three-dimensional. We have garden shepherd's hooks that you drive in and you can hang bird feeders or hanging baskets and stuff on them. Be aware of the time investment. What I mean by that is not how long it's going to take you to plant, because we can break that up. It's a long weekend. We can do a bit today, a bit tomorrow, a bit on Monday. Think about how much time in the future you have to maintain all those plants, because it can become a sore spot. You're busy, it's summertime, you want to go out and enjoy yourself, and your friends are like, hey, you want to go to the mountains? And you go, sure, but I have to be back at 4 o'clock because I got to water 300 plants. Okay? We need to consider that, are this amount of plants going to fit in with our lifestyle? If you go on vacation, is your sister going to be heavily resentful because she had to look after your, whatever, 74 house plants, not 150 that I was accused of? I'm just speaking, that could be anybody. But consider all of these time investments and be prepared to react quickly if needed. Primarily, again, I'm going back to the weather. Okay, so have a plan, have a look, and know your space. So if you have a garden plan planned out, and you know it hails, you know, oh, I need 3 frost covers, 3 frost blankets, and that'll cover all of my veggies. As opposed to running out there with one and being like, oh, this is nowhere near big enough. What? And then you're scattering, the hail is starting to come down, you're out there, you're getting hurt. Do a little bit of prep ahead of time, and you've got the answers. All of my frost blankets right now, if you go through my backyard into my garage and open the door, they are right there on the left. Right there, all stacked up and folded, quick grab, right? And that's to protect me from hail. I'm sitting at home, I haven't had a chance to check the weather, which is a total lie. I check the weather every single day, 4 times a day on 3 different apps. I should be a weatherman at this time of year. But not everybody does that. I have to do it. It's part and parcel with the job. So just be ready to go. Toolkit. Hose and nozzle. Check them out. Cultivator, forks. We've even got fun ones like this. Okay, there is nothing wrong with getting glam tools. Okay, I promise you, there's not. You don't have to look and be like, oh, that's a little ostentatious. It's gonna work. Looks great on the gram too.
Yeah.
Right, and then you hashtag gold digger.
Yeah.
But get a cultivator and a fork, a shovel and a trowel. Rakes, absolutely essential. Pruners. I know I got a pair kicking around here somewhere. Pruners. Never have a pair of pruners too far from me. Plant supports. Okay. Peony rings, tomato cages, bamboo sticks. I put that tomato in. It does not need a cage at all. Right now, it's totally fine. Huh? Hey, you want to fight, buddy? I can easily get a cage on that. Put it up, put the cage on, sink it down, good to go. As it gets bigger, and it does need a cage, it's a hell of a lot harder to put the cage on. My peony, I look at it and it's, purple shoots up like this, the leaves are starting to open, I go, it doesn't need a cage right now. I forget about it, now it's in bloom and everything is starting to sag and I'm trying to bundle it in and put it on. I got ants running on my arms. It's not fun. Get them on now. Have a look at what tools you need. Hydrogen peroxide, great for sterilizing. Sterilizing pruners, sterilizing any tool if you've had to deal with a plant that's been infected, sterilizing your pots. Maybe last year you did have some powdery mildew in a pot and you want to get on top of it. And sharpening stones. I've got a couple over here. I cannot pick that one up. These are great for your pruners, for your trowels, for your transplanters. Nice sharp tool to start the year. Fantastic. I always like starting with sharp and clean tools. Okay, looking after ourselves. Some of us can be in that garden for 8 hours a day, 2 days a week, 2 days on this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. There's nothing worse than getting out there the first day and not being able to garden the second day because we didn't look after ourselves. Gloves, okay? I personally don't wear them. If You don't want to wear them, you don't have to. But you can get blisters, you can get splinters, you can get thorns, you're cutting back your raspberries, you're planting a rose bush, whatever the case might be. Good pair of gloves never hurts to have. And kneeler, if you've got bad knees. You think the grass is soft at first. After you've knelt on it for 3 hours, it ain't that soft anymore. Having a nice kneeler, some padding, some cushion to kneel on goes a long way. Good sunglasses. So these are dirty as hell. These are transitionals. So when I go outside, they go completely black. They're UV protected. They're like actually my glasses. One of the reasons my eyes are bad, my doctor told me this, was years and years of landscaping wearing cheap glasses. Okay, there was really no protection in them. Invest in a decent pair of glasses. It'll stop headaches. It'll stop light sensitivity, all kinds of stuff. Wear a hat, if that's your jam. I wear a hat mainly to keep my hair back from blowing in my face or to not get burnt down where the weight of my hair gives me a center parting. Like a...
There you go.
There we go. SPF 50. The reason I say SPF 50 is I have friends and people in my life that use SPF 30 and every year they get burnt. And I go, why not use 50? And they go, well, no, 30 is good enough. It's not. If you're getting burnt, it's not. Loose, light clothes and rainwear, just because there's a little bit of rain, light rain, not torrential downpour, a little bit of light rain is the best weather to plant in. It really is. Cloudy, damp, drizzle. That's why I think everybody in England is a gardener. And Vancouver too. Haha, you guys get sucky weather. Where we feel very, very, very sorry for you. No, we don't. And water. Drink water. I am bad for that last one. That is the one. Yes. Thanks, Brandy.
Your water is coffee.
There is water in coffee. I'm bad for that. I have to consciously tell myself to bring water out. Bring out a bottle of water. Most people have a water bottle now. Fill it up. Drink it. Keep yourself hydrated. So we love the sunshine. It's essential for plants. It's good for us. Okay, the warmth helps us move without stiffness, alleviates depression. Again, sunshine and gardening and whatnot is not a cure-all. Hey, you want to know what's something cool? Actually, speaking of that, I'm doing a segue, but it's an important shout-out day. Today is National Therapeutic Horticulture Day.
Oh, wow.
It was
timely.
Yeah, it was started, and I don't know if it was deliberately started on this weekend. From the very, very small bit of reading I had a chance to do this morning, I am definitely going to explore it further. I bookmarked the page. I believe it was started by somebody in Scotland.
Cool.
And it was, they'd done some study and some reading and whatnot into how working with plants and working outside was massively therapeutic and how many therapists were recommending it. So they started a national day and it's been picked up by tons of countries.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, now I don't know if they did it because it started in Scotland. They can plant a little earlier than us. I'm not sure why they picked this weekend, but they picked this. So
I'm on board.
yeah. So, but again, it's a tool in the toolbox. I'll always say this. Lots of people have, some kind of mental health. Big love to you all. This is a tool in the toolbox. Therapy, doctors, walking, exercise, proper eating, all of that is very good and you're all very loved, I promise you. The sun improves sleep. You ever been out on a sunny day, gardening, walking, hiking, playing at the beach? You go home that night, out like a light. Sunlight reduces our stress and it gives us much needed essential vitamin D. Mm-hmm. All right. And then the very next slide is, however, dehydration. Okay, make sure you've got water. Sunburn, not cool. Skin cancer, and to go a little gruesome here, but to tell you guys how much I love you, this is why I go on about this. Very luckily, I happened to run into a dermatologist for a very unrelated issue. We were talking about what I did for a living. I told him that I used to be a landscaper. He asked when I'd been screened. I said never. He screened me and he found skin cancer. Okay, and he removed it, and I have a horrific scar about that long across my back where it had to be. And that was because I didn't wear sun. I would go out there and I'd landscape and I'd be like, oh, I got a base tan. I don't need SPF. You do. Okay, please. It's just not worth it. You put it on. Nowadays, it smells good. They've got all kinds of different ones. They've got ones that aren't going to clog your pores. You're not going to break out. You're not going to do anything. And if you're outside all summer, I promise you'll get. I went to Greece a couple of years ago. Used SPF 50 5 times a day because we were swimming. We were on the beach. I came back and I was like brown, dark. I had a full tan. I saw my dermatologist because I had an appointment. After that, I told him, and he's like, "You look great." He's like, "I see no trouble spots." He's like, "I see people coming back from places like Greece. They're peeling. They've been burnt." He's like, "That is my concern." He's like, "You wore SPF 50. You're still going to get a tan." Okay? So let's play the long game. Enough being heavy here. Heat stroke, sunstroke. Take breaks, get into that shade. Try not to garden during the hottest part of the day between noon and 2:30. Wear your hat. It can cause major headaches from the light exposure or from dehydration or whatever. Jenny is very sensitive to that. Yeah, if she's outside without glasses, and it's funny, yeah, how things like this also happen in the winter.
Yeah.
When you're outside, that glare off the snow. And sun, I just said it makes us tired, right? Which is great, but it can also cause fatigue. Okay, we go out there and we're gardening and we're not used to it. And next thing you know, we're not even able to make it through the day because we're just exhausted. And take care of yourself, okay? Stretch, okay?
So important.
Yeah. Peter and Bree did a huge gardening project last week. Cut a whole new bed, turned it, planted it. Peter is pretty young, pretty healthy, pretty active dude. I talked to him and he was like, "Yeah, the next day I am really feeling it. I should have done a lot of stretching."
Yes, before and after.
Yep, during.
Yes.
During, stop, give yourself a stretch, use your tools, okay? Post it to the gram. Be like doing my stretches. Take breaks. Nothing wrong, you don't have to keep going, okay? Be like, okay, I'm gonna do these 5 pots or this bed. Then I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna sit down for a couple of minutes, I'm gonna stretch, I'm gonna crack my fingers, drink some water, and then I'm gonna tackle this and break it into smaller. You don't have to look at it and be like, I gotta do all of this in one shot with no break, unless you have my brain, in which case that's exactly how you do it. Garden in the morning or the evening. Garden on cooler days. Okay, if you're looking at the long weekend and you're like, oh my God, today is gonna be 27 and tomorrow's gonna be 18. Do your gardening tomorrow. Do all of your prep work today. And remember, it's good for you and the planet. So take care of yourself, like be stretching, be aware, take the breaks, drink the water, and keep yourself going. Okay, couple of things. It's a marathon, not a sprint. I know when the May long weekend hits, we can get frenzied. We're frenzied behind the scenes, believe me. Like, oh, do we have this? Do we have this? Move this, get that. But when you get home to your garden, it's a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, take your time. Slow it down. Appreciate the effort. Appreciate what you're doing. I think too many times now we're too scared to give ourselves a pat on the back because it seems like we're being braggadocious. And sometimes we have like some kind of false humility and everything else. Screw that. Okay, pat yourself on the back. Take the picture. Be like, look at the work I did. Take a selfie. Okay, appreciate the effort you did because frankly, it's worth it and you did a great job. Post the before and after. I am so good at that, Brandy?
No. Bree's good at that.
Okay, well, maybe
Yeah,
Bree.
we have friends good at that, but we're just horrible at
Yeah,
it.
I tell people to do that, and I recommend it, and we have friends who do it. I get into gardening mode, and I forget I've even got a phone.
Yeah.
And I go out there, and I'm like, da, 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 and then I'm like, oh, there's a picture, but
Yeah.
there's no before and after. I am not good at that. Don't get bummed out if something doesn't work. Don't get bummed out if you didn't get to something. There's another day, there's another week, month, season. Okay, it happens to me. There are times where something didn't work, or I'm at work, Jenny's at work, and a hailstorm comes in and decimates, and I cannot get replacement tomatoes. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks, but it does not mean you have a black thumb. It does not mean you are a bad gardener. It just means that sucks for right now. We pick ourselves up and we go again and ask for help. As in, ask us. We're not hard to find. We're info at Golden Acre. We're on all the social medias. I'm always walking around downstairs. If you see me in person, grab a hold of me. Say hi. Brandy as well.
Yeah.
Okay?
Podcast.
Any podcast. Yeah, like, there we are right there. Look, there I am. There I am. This picture was done when I had shorter hair.
Yeah.
Maybe we should update it.
Yeah.
Actually, didn't you manage to update it somehow by overlapping the? But ask for help. Ask us. Ask your neighbors. Ask your kids if they're teenagers. They'll say no, but ask anyway. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of projecting. See, this is why gardening. Remember, I said it was therapeutic.
Yeah, it's therapeutic.
I'm getting a lot out here.
Yeah.
Right? This is like my 1 hour session a week, and I thank you all for being here. Poor Brandy, she's like, I've heard this too much. And thank you. As always, a huge thank you. As I said at the beginning, I love doing these kind of things. I love sharing knowledge. I love answering questions. I love inspiring people to garden and helping them get there. There's no such thing as a black thumb. Not at all. There's no such thing as I can't garden. There is such thing as I am inexperienced at this. Can you help me? Mm-hmm. Okay, and the answer is yes, we can. Yeah. Okay, absolutely. So, if there are any questions, I like that. If there are any questions, or if you're all like, will this long-haired English guy shut up so I can get gardening? I'm more than happy with that as well.
Yeah, we'd love to know what you're doing this May long weekend.
Oh, yeah.
If you're actually going out to go plant, or I know that there's a little bit of rain, which might be the best time to plant, as you mentioned.
Yep. Or if you really don't like working in the rain.
Yep.
The phones are pretty accurate these days. Like my Google tells me rain starting at 2:30.
Yeah.
So if you know how long it'll take you to plant, get your planting done, then come inside and let Mother Nature rain.
Exactly.
Let her do the watering.
That satisfies the lazy in me for sure.
There's nothing better than when you finish the job and you're doing the cleanup and you feel those first drops.
Yeah.
And you're like,
made it.
yeah, and you get everything put away and it rains and it washes everything down, everything looks clean, and then that smell.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, and like fresh cut lawn, and then it rains.
Would you know anything about a fresh cut lawn?
No, my mom does. Anyway, that does wrap us up though.
Perfect. Have a great weekend, everybody. Be safe, enjoy. If you want any more tips, fun, more of Brandy and I, check out our podcast. We have, like I said, any reference points, you can look at the podcast or previous webinars.
What's it called?
The Helpful Gardeners.
There you go.
And, okay, see if I can get the list right. Spotify, Google, Apple, YouTube, goldenacre.ca, iHeartRadio, and Audible.
Yeah.
Nailed it. Yeah, so you can find us. We're not hard to find. We love to hear from you. Share comments, share pics, tag us in your selfies. We'll happily put that in our stories, and we'll see you all next week. Bye, everyone.
Thanks.